Knon 89.3 FM in Dallas and Fort Worth, the voice of the people.
Business owners, tell KNON's listeners about your business. You can put your business or event on KNON. KNON currently has space available to run announcements for you. Tell KNON's listeners about your goods, services, nightclub, concert, or event. Help keep the voice of the people on the air while putting your information on the air. KNON's been named the #1 radio station in Dallas by both the Dallas Observer and D Magazine. Put your business with Dallas's #1 station. Call now for more information at 214-828-9500, extension 227, or extension 233. For more information, go to knon.org and click on the Run Spots on KNON page. It's a great way for your business to support community radio while letting more people know about you.
Good morning.
It's the Workers Beat with
Bonnie Mathias
and Team Lantz. Did you make it through okay?
I did.
The ice?
I did. The I-45 overhead was very rough. Very rough, but
you're a courageous woman.
Well, you know,
I only decided to come at the last minute.
Did you?
I was scared to death. I couldn't even get into my car. It's iced over. I had to take my wife's car, which you can turn my wife's car on without being in it.
Yeah.
And so it melted enough to where I could open the doors.
Yeah, we actually went out yesterday for a little while. Went and ate because my kitchen is non-existent right now. We're in the
You're
middle.
In the no power.
No, we have power, but I'm remodeling my kitchen. So my refrigerator is sitting in my living room, and I don't have a stove and all that stuff. So we did get out yesterday, and we scraped the car and got into the car with a little bit of muscle. But yeah, it's not bad.
Well, one of the funny things is that I was so intent on getting the car de-iced and able to get out the driveway, and so happy with myself that I was able to do that I forgot my notes. I have 3 pages of notes sitting at home. Took a week to make them. I do this every week. I save up all of the interesting stuff about worker justice that I get over the internet and from everywhere else, and from actions that we go on, and left them laying on my desk. So because I was so concerned about the weather. But I do remember a couple of things that are coming up, and people should mark this down because it's going, this ice is not going to last forever. It's supposed to be thawed, I think, on Tuesday. And Tuesday night is International Human Rights Day. And it's particularly a good day for this because Nelson Mandela just died.
Yeah.
Nobody stood up for international human rights like Nelson Mandela. We shall miss him horribly.
Yeah.
And I'm so proud looking back to realize that people here in Dallas had a role in getting Nelson Mandela out of jail. We used to circulate those yellow buttons that said Free Mandela. I remember taking them to an NAACP conference, and I remember many, many times going out and picketing Shell stations.
I saw your picture yesterday. You look the same.
That was a good 20 years ago, wasn't it?
You look the same. It's great.
We picketed Shell stations, and people kept asking us, well, what's this got to do with anything? Well, American Shell was associated with Royal Dutch Shell, and Royal Dutch Shell was a major company in South Africa during apartheid. And so that was the best we could do to try to get Nelson Mandela out of jail, was picket Shell stations. It drove the Shell station owners nuts.
I'm sure.
And it was... The thing that really tickled me, though, is we would see several Hispanics would come in and get gas. I don't think they even knew what we were talking about. A few whites would turn and not come in, but almost all African Americans knew exactly what we were doing, and they did not patronize those Shell stations while we had our picket lines up. The very best days, the one that I circulated the picture about, was when the postal workers, which had a union hall on Davis Street, right beside a Shell station.
Perfect.
And they were holding their meeting one Sunday, and we got our meeting at the UAW over with, and some of us UAW people came over to their Shell station, and they all came out. So we had like 60 of them.
Wow.
And like 4 of us from United Auto Workers, and so we had a really good picket at the Shell station, and we really shut that one down for a couple of hours.
That's great.
So people here in Dallas had a role, not a big role. Nothing like what Nelson Mandela did, nothing like the sacrifices that he made, nothing like the greatness of his life. But we had a role, and that's something to really look back and be really, really, really proud of.
You bet.
So Human Rights Day will be Tuesday night, 7 o'clock at 1408 North Washington. That's Bonnie's Union Hall. 1408 North Washington. It's on Washington and Bryan.
Yes.
Oh, Bryan's not a through street if you're coming from out of Dallas.
Right.
If it was a through street, it'd be really easy to find this place because
Yeah.
you just take Bryan out of downtown and go right straight to the corner of Bryan and Washington.
But you can take Ross or Live Oak.
You have to take Ross or Live Oak and then come back in to Bryan and Washington.
And if you know where the Dallas Administration, DISD Administration building is, we are right down the street. We're
Yeah.
in between Live Oak and Ross on Washington.
And 7 o'clock on Tuesday, Human Rights Day. They're going to have a cultural stuff too, because the new youth group, the AFL-CIO youth group, is getting involved in this, and they're bringing in the music and some of the younger speakers, and they'll have a wide range of human rights issues, particularly around the right to organize. Because when you get down to it, brothers and sisters, what's the answer to almost all of our troubles?
Organize.
Organize. And so the Human Rights Day will be 7 o'clock on Tuesday night at 1408 North Washington. The other one is one that George Nolan cooked up. This is George Nolan is this activist retiree friend of mine that I'm really, really proud of. I ran across him in Occupy. And he was an Occupy activist, and he was about the oldest one. And so I grabbed him for our retiree group. And one of the oldest, and at the same time, one of the youngest. So he kind of cooked this idea up for December the 12th, which is Thursday, I believe.
Okay.
Thursday afternoon at 1:30, we're going to meet at the Cockrell Hill Shopping Center. There's a Walmart there and a bunch of other stuff. It's across the street from a Golden Corral. We're going to meet there at 1:30 in the afternoon, and we're going to have the Grinch who stole Christmas, because on December 13th, Congress is going to steal Christmas. Congress is cooking up new budget. They're calling it budget discussions. We call it cuts, because they don't even discuss the idea of raising more money, of letting rich people pay more taxes and that sort of thing. They only look at ways to cut the poor. And that's what they call budget discussions.
Well, isn't that nice of them?
Yeah.
Because they're all rich.
Well, they've got one of the things they want to cut is retiree benefits, Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. And, of course, that's what got the retirees riled up. But when you think about it, there's other people that are going to be hit horribly. The people who depend on food stamps to keep from starving.
Like Walmart employees.
To keep their children from starving. They have already taken a big cut, and certain politicians have already planned gigantic cuts in the food stamp program, which would just literally put Americans on a starvation list.
Yeah.
They're also going to cut extended unemployment benefits. I'm not saying they're going to, but that's what they want to do.
Right.
That's what a number of them want to do, and a number of them are from Texas that want to do this too. 3 days after Christmas, imagine having your total income disappear. Jeez. That's what's going to happen to the long-term unemployed. And we have more long-term unemployed now than we have ever had since the Great Depression. Mm-hmm. The long-term unemployed are looking at having their total income, which is unemployment insurance, disappear 3 days after Christmas.
And we have a lot of people who are actually underemployed. Who
it runs up to 25 million when you count them all. When you count them all, the people that are working at Walmart and don't really want to get a full-time job, people that are working part-time and can't get a full-time job.
25 million people.
It comes out to 25 million people.
Wow.
But the ones on extended unemployment, I'm not sure how many million that is, but it's something like 1.8 million, I believe, would lose all their income on 3 days after Christmas if Congress does what some of them want to do. So we'll be out there at 1:30 at the Cockrell Hill Shopping Center, which is at the Cockrell Hill exit. It's about 2 exits out of downtown Dallas as you go west toward Fort Worth.
Yep.
I think it's like the second or third exit, Cockrell Hill. Then on the south side of that, there's this big shopping center with Walmart and a Best Buy and a whole bunch of stuff in it.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in there.
We're going to go to the entrance of that. We're going to have the Grinch himself.
All right.
Green face and all.
Oh, I didn't know you got him to come too.
And we are inviting some of the worst of the right-wing congressmen from the Texas delegation.
You think Ted Cruz will be there?
We're inviting Ted Cruz. We're inviting John Cornyn.
Wow. Jeb
Henserling, Sessions.
Oh.
And the one, what's the one, Johnson. I always get him mixed up because I don't want to get him mixed up with EBJ.
Oh, right.
This is not Eddie Bernice Johnson. This is the other Johnson.
The other Johnson.
But if they don't come, and of course they may not, we're going to have stand-ins for them.
Oh, good.
So people will be standing in for these right-wing congresspersons, and the Grinch will be there. And I'm not sure what we're going to do. Shoot them, I guess. Burn them alive or so. I don't know what we're going to do with them.
Hang them in effigy?
But we're going to have them represented. We're going to have the Grinch and these certain congresspersons represented. This is all George Nolan's idea.
I like it.
George is the president of the Dallas chapter of the Texas Alliance for Retired Americans.
Oh.
And so I just threw out the idea we need to have some kind of press conference or something on December 12th because disaster is going to strike on December 13th.
That's right.
And George said, Grinch. That's the worst. That's what they are.
You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch.
They're going to do all this takeaway stuff right during the Christmas season, but it isn't just because it's Christmas, but the truth is it's really a horrible thing being done to the American people. We're sliding backwards, especially the most poorest and the least defensible. Yeah. And you know who that is? You know what demographic has the least ability to defend itself politically? It's
children.
It's children.
Children.
It's always been children.
Yeah.
That's why it was legal. It's still legal to beat them. It's still legal to starve them. It's still legal to treat them in all kinds of horrible ways. I mean, I know we pick up the paper and every now and then somebody gets caught, raising their daughter in a closet or something.
Yeah.
But that's not even the
worst.
Not even the tip of the iceberg. Not even the smallest part of what is being done to children every day, everywhere, and the government's in on it. That's what really makes me sad.
That's what's really sad.
This idea of cutting food stamps and cutting children's health insurance, which the Texas legislature is guilty of and should be in jail for having done.
And the Texas, our governor has refused to accept the federal money to expand Medicaid.
Yeah, for political reasons.
For political reasons.
He wants to look good.
That's
he wants to look a lot better than he did last time when he ran for president.
Mr. Oops.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So he's taken a stand that he doesn't care how many poor people suffer.
And Greg Abbott is right there with him, sitting in the forefront. Sorry, that was kind of tacky, wasn't it? But Greg Abbott, you guys think that Rick Perry is bad about taking care of or even thinking about poor people? Wait till you get a taste of Greg Abbott.
Yeah, he has some terrible positions.
Oh my gosh!
Widely positioned. One of the funny things about Greg Abbott is that after cutting school children drastically and supporting this all the way, he was completely behind it, cutting the funds for education, causing hundreds of teachers to lose their jobs. Now he's going around touring the schools. I'm surprised anybody lets him in, but they do. I guess they have to.
I guess. It's amazing to me that his positions have just really, they are so far to the right.
It reminds me of 1984, the book.
Yeah.
1984, because where they in the book 1984, people would say things backwards. They would say war is peace, good is bad, hunger is helpful, and that sort of thing. And that's what they're saying. They're saying we're getting people away from their dependency, and because we're weaning them from their dependency.
We're weaning them off of food.
Yeah.
So, if we wean everybody off of food.
That's what they're doing.
What?
And they act as if they were doing something charitable,
us a favor,
or
yeah,
something.
yeah.
And while in the meantime they're dishing out the money for the very, very rich. The very, very rich are just piling up the money. The scandal, even the president. I'm surprised and so pleased to see that President Obama has come out on the subject of the wealth gap.
Yeah.
The fact that the money is all piling up, and it's like scads, it's like trillions of dollars laying around that the corporations won't reinvest. They're not doing anything with it.
They're not hiring anybody.
They're having a hard time finding any place to put it.
Darn.
Trillions of dollars piling up at the high end of the income levels.
I'm sure there's enough money to actually pay off the national debt.
Oh yeah, they have enough, and well, they could certainly fix the economy with the cash that they've got laying around. But instead, they're just piling up more and taking it away from whom?
Greed.
The people who have the least ability to defend themselves, and unfortunately, that's children.
Yeah.
972-647-1893 is our number.
I hear music.
Bonnie and I have so many opinions that we forget you have opinions too. Call us after this break.
I got to work.
Don't be a Scrooge. Give the blues to the music lover on your list. KNON has the perfect CD or LP for you. Texas Blues Radio Volume 5. Texas Blues Radio Volume 5 features acoustic blues, instrumental blues, party songs, somebody done somebody wrong songs, baby got a good thing songs, six-pack and devil's back songs, gumbo, jive, T-bone, and hip-shaking songs from a fine selection of great Texas blues artists. So do right by the blues and give some Texas blues this year. Texas Blues Radio Volume 5 CD is available at knon.org, Forever Young Records in Grand Prairie, and in Dallas at Bill's Records. Vinyl copies are at Forever Young Records for that vinyl fan on your list. Downloads are available at cdbaby.com. All proceeds are a gift to KNON.
The Dallas Volunteer Attorney Program, a joint initiative of the Dallas Bar Association and Legal Aid of Northwest Texas. It is an organization dedicated to increasing and enhancing pro bono legal services to the poor in Dallas through the recruitment, training, and support of volunteer attorneys. DVAP offers numerous legal clinics for Dallas County residents. For more information, dallasbar.org/DVAP.
And then there's Saturday.
And Saturday morning, yeah, we love Saturday morning.
Here we are, that's right.
And I hope everybody's staying warm. Bonnie and I managed to get here, but it's certifiable now that Bonnie and I are nuts. So don't go out.
Pretty much.
Don't go out. Bonnie and I are crazy.
Yeah.
And
but that's
and
okay.
so are the rest of everybody else here that's at the station. We just got the word from Doc that we're not going to keep videoing much longer. So if you're catching this on video, which you can get on YouTube, all of our back shows are on YouTube. But we're threatened now with not being able to video it much past the beginning of the year. So we're trying to figure something out on that. 972-647-1893.
Well, here's a story says House Republican plan / Social Security to increase military spending.
So they're going to increase the military and cut Social Security. Is that what it says?
Why are they going to do that? Why do we have to increase military spending? Is there some fear out there that something might happen?
Here's the answer. 972-647-1893. Call us with the answer. Why are they going to cut Social Security? Or rather, they're not going to. I'm overstating it.
They want to.
They want to. And if you don't do anything, if you and I don't do anything, they will.
Yeah.
So 972-647-1893. Station loves it when you call. KNON's Community Radio, And we used to have talk shows endlessly on this program and give people a chance to talk. Now you're narrowed down to just a few, and Workers Beat is one of them. So call Workers Beat, 972-647-1893. We were kind of expecting to hear from some retirees about the event on Thursday at the Cockrell Hill Shopping Center. I know it's a little cold, but I say this all the time. We have to do something.
Yep.
It's up to us. You don't have that many friends in government, and I make the point all the time that you have hardly any friends in the media, and you have very few friends in government. Thank goodness for Eddie Bernice Johnson and Congressman Mark Veazey here in North Texas, who are just wonderful. Yep. And have just been great for the people of North Texas. The rest of them, you wouldn't miss them. I'm telling you.
I certainly don't.
If they were gone, in fact, we would probably be better off. That's just an opinion. If you've got an opinion, call us and tell us. It's 972-647-1893.
Here's a really good quote from Nelson Mandela.
Okay, what is it?
Poverty is not an accident. Like slavery and apartheid, it is man-made and can be removed by the actions of human beings. It's a tough road. Mm-hmm. It's not easy.
We use that quote in the Dallas AFL-CIO news. I don't know if people get the Dallas AFL-CIO news, but you can get on the Dallas AFL-CIO news website, and it's there.
Yes.
And then if you hit contact us, and send us an email, or you can just send me an email. I'm at labordallas@sbcglobal.net. labordallas@sbcglobal.net. You can remember me. I'm Labor Dallas, and my website's named labordallas.org. So you can contact us and get on that list. An even more important list, I think, for activists in Texas is Ed Sills' list. Ed Sills is the communications director for the Texas AFL-CIO, and I tell people this all the time: the Texas AFL-CIO is the most progressive organization in the state of Texas, bar none. Absolutely. I'm not talking about some of the civil rights organizations, some of the other union organizations, some of the community organizations. They're all pretty good, but the Texas AFL-CIO under Becky Moeller is the most progressive organization in the state of Texas. Woohoo! And you can get on their news list, and it's free, just by writing to ed@texasaflcio.org. That's Ed Sills, but you just put ed, E-D, at texasaflcio.org, and you get on his newsletter. That's where I get 50% at least of my information, because Ed does a newsletter. It's very, very important all the time, but it's absolutely vital when the legislature is in session, because the legislature don't tell people what they do. you have to really work at it to find out what the Texas legislature is going to do to working people, unless you subscribe to ed@texasaflco.org. So get that if you don't get anything else. It's free and it's great. The Dallas Labor News comes out on Friday. I do that, and that's because we have a new principal officer at the AFL-CIO who's very oriented toward being open, causing more things to happen with interacting with the community. In fact, every time Bonnie gets arrested, there's the AFL-CIO's out there with them.
That's right. That's right. Bonnie has not been arrested, by the way.
Okay, but when Bonnie's on the picket line,
that's right.
You see Mark York too.
Yeah,
and
that's right.
You just saw Bonnie.
That's right. I mean, now we have other people.
That was enough.
I'm excited.
But it's even greater now to have other people besides Bonnie. So the head of the AFL-CIO, Mark York, is really making some dramatic changes, and we could talk about that for the next 5 hours.
We sure could.
Because this is historical. What they don't like to say, they like to say these are good things that we're doing, but they don't like to say that these are things we should have been doing for the last 50 years. And they should have. Actually, the American labor movement took a nosedive in 1947. there was a law passed called the Taft-Hartley law,
Taft-Hartley, that's
which
right.
was bad, but they made it. The unions made it much worse right away. Joshua's on line 3. Okay, put him on. Thanks for the relief, Joshua. Me and Bonnie are just throwing out our own opinions. What's yours?
Well, I actually have a question for my more experienced comrades. You mentioned earlier that Greg Abbott was getting involved in public education. And I understand he's the Attorney General of the state, right?
Yes.
Correct.
Now
They call him General Abbott.
General Abbott, okay. I'm new to Texas, so I'm trying to figure out the kind of relationships between these high-level state politicians. So Abbott is Attorney General, getting involved in education. There's also Perry, the governor, and a lieutenant governor, right?
Dewhurst, yes.
Governor Lieutenant Governor David Dewhurst.
Okay, and are these folks all Republicans at this point, or what?
Yes.
All the statewide officers in Texas are Republicans.
Yes.
Okay, and how, of these three, I wonder, are you aware of any kind of, what are the responsibilities of these characters, and what are the what are the relative, who's the boss in here, and who are the ones we should really be trying hardest to work against, I should say. And I hope you all have a great morning.
Thanks.
So we should have a little civics lessons on
Right.
Texas.
Well,
Go ahead, Bonnie. You're a Texan. I'm an Okie.
Yeah, I'm not really a Texan, but I've been here long enough to claim it.
Okay.
Okay. General Abbott is running to be the governor
Yes.
because Mr.
But
Perry
what Joshua wants to know is, what does he do now?
file
I know
lawsuits against the federal government.
He
for the
says
most
so
part.
himself. He says, my job consists of filing lawsuits against the federal government.
Yep.
That's what he does.
He doesn't want the EPA to have any regulations in the state. He does not want. Of course, he has helped Governor Perry to keep the
Doesn't want any
expansion of
health care.
Medicaid. That's right.
Doesn't want health care.
No health care. He would like to do away with CHIP, which is the Children's Health Insurance Program. He would very much like it if the unions would just go away.
He's very, very anti-union.
Very anti-worker, period.
Why did you just pick on Abbott about that? I mean, all three
Well,
of
that's
them.
pretty much all three of them.
Yeah.
But Abbott seems to be the most, I guess because of his lawsuits, his filing of lawsuits, he's been really in the forefront of stopping progress in the state of Texas.
I think what Joshua wanted to know is, what are they supposed to do? He's coming in from out of Texas. The Attorney General is responsible for the same things Attorney Generals that are at the federal level, which is filing lawsuits and taking care of the state legally.
Yeah.
The Lieutenant Governor. No, let's do the Governor first.
Okay.
The Governor can veto legislation. He's also the figurehead, spokesperson, head of government. The Lieutenant Governor has the ability to stop legislation from going through the upper chamber of the legislature. So the Lieutenant Governor in the upper chamber and the Speaker of the House in the lower chamber, both of them have tremendous power because they can stop almost anything from happening in the state legislature. They can't really make anything happen, but they can stop things from happening. And so that's what they're supposed to do.
Right.
What they've actually done over the past period, and this is less true of Dewhurst than it is the other two. What they've actually done is promote themselves politically, trying to get higher office by being as rabidly anti-government as possible.
Yeah.
Not only against the federal government, but against their own government.
Yeah.
And handing out everything they possibly could to the big corporate campaign donors. If you saw
Insurance
today's
companies.
newspaper, you could see that one of the executives is in trouble for having misapplied some $11 million worth of state funds, and of course he's one of the cronies of the governor, and so that's what they actually do, is promote themselves.
Yeah.
Does
right.
that answer your question, Joshua?
Oh, I think he hung up to listen.
If he's still on, we could ask him what it looks like to somebody who comes in.
Right.
I guess part of the question is answered because he wanted to know.
That's right. That's
Because he can
good.
see what they're doing, and he wants to know, well, what were they supposed to do?
What are they supposed to do? Randy.
And Randy's on line 4. Let's put Randy on. Thanks for calling, Randy. Good morning.
Good morning, you guys.
Thanks for waiting.
You know, every governor, every senator, congressman, city council person, about 99% of them are all trying to use that office to launch them into the next office. That's nothing new. It's just that they're on one side that we ain't on.
Do you think that's just natural, Randy? I mean, people want to better themselves, or do you think it's that they're particularly venal and willing to sacrifice the interests of the public?
Well, Gene, you know this world works off of positive and negative energy. You can't have the positive, which we think we are, can't exist without the negative, which we think they are. You know, one has to have the other to exist. It's just how well both sides are able to keep it in the neutral zone where it's balanced between good and evil. But my question I called for today was, what happened to the lady who was brave enough to stand up and speak out against Walmart last week?
Everybody's been asking us that.
I haven't heard from Megan.
If anybody from the Walmart people are here or listening, call us at 972-647-1893. Everybody liked Megan. I got a lot of comments during the week.
Well, people want to know because you know now,
she was so brave.
Now we've listened to Megan and we've got inside of her actual world, and a lot of people are concerned about them.
Right.
Just like the other workers at Walmart and just like the other workers at the fast food places. You know, they talk about how they want to cut Medicaid and Medicare costs and expenditures and this and that. Well, they already got it figured out. Raise the minimum wage, then they don't have to apply for Medicare and Medicaid, right?
Wow, what a novel concept.
And the president, said that this week.
Yeah.
Randy, the president said that this week. Wasn't that great?
Right.
Well, you know what? I'll just say the thing like they say in Missouri.
Show me.
Show me.
Yeah.
Because you know what? When he came in and said Guantanamo was going to be closed, how many years later is it? It's still not closed. We still have people down there that aren't even charged with nothing. And now it's, how many years later? And we have America has a hit list. We are going around like the mafia and taking people out without a judicial system. So, you know, I hope he does, but I'm not going to stay awake tonight thinking it's going to happen.
I see. So, but it was good that he said so, though, because he said so out in public.
Definitely.
That was good.
That's
just not enough.
Right. That's how you get the ball rolling is you make the first little kick. So I got to give him that. He's got the little kick going.
Yeah.
And I'll hang up and listen to you guys later. Y'all.
Thanks.
Try to find out what happened to the young lady and let us know where she's going.
We sure will.
We'll just call for people to call us at 972-647-1893. Since Bonnie and I have not heard that anybody else got fired at Walmart, it's pretty sure that they didn't, because we get everything that the Walmart people put out, and I think they would have said something. But you know, the funniest thing is, and it's kind of sad in a way, everything slows down during Christmas, and so does protest. The people like me that go out and do stuff and hit the streets and carry picket signs and that sort of thing, they're somehow afraid of Christmas.
I don't know why.
They just kind of let it slide. Well, it's not a good time for wartime. We know that soldiers sometimes won't fight on Christmas.
Well, but we have to keep fighting here domestically.
Unfortunately, they're going right ahead and cutting us.
Yeah. I mean, I just saw this. There's a Debbie Stabenow, Senator Debbie Stabenow. She is Michigan. She's the chairman of the Senate Agriculture Committee, and she thinks that cutting another $8 billion in food stamps is somehow going to make a difference in
She think that's a good idea.
Yeah, and she's a Democrat, so I'm not sure where the heck she's coming
That's
from.
what's scaring me is that Democrats are talking about these cuts too.
Wow.
It's not all of them, but there's going to be some of them, and used to it was just Republicans. Let's get Jim Davis on the phone. I think I know Jim Davis. Don't you have a white beard or something? And didn't we pick it together, Jim Davis?
I was on your show once, remember?
Oh, all right.
You don't remember. Anyway.
Yes, I do. And we met at the Saturday Night Forum.
Right.
And by the way, we don't advertise that enough because I lost my notes. Can you tell us about tonight's Saturday Night Forum?
I can't, but I'll tell you what I'll do. After I hang up, I'll look it up and call you back.
They do that out in East Dallas now. They got away from that place on Gaston, I believe.
Yeah, they went back to the old place.
On Garland Road. Garland Road.
I can't think of the name of the restaurant.
And that's at 6:30 tonight. Somebody should call and tell us. But go ahead, Jim Davis. What's up?
Well, I was listening to your comments about Republicans and Democrats, and my comment is they're selling out. They need campaign finance money. That's why they're doing that.
You're right.
They're doing it so they can get more money for themselves.
Well, they really they can either do the right thing and get beat in the primaries, usually, or take the campaign finance money with the intention of doing all that they can, which is stuff to do, and most of them don't.
Most of the campaign money comes from big corporations and owners of big corporations.
Of course.
So you're saying that the politicians are playing to them instead of to the people?
Of course they are. I mean, my comment is, it's not Democrat versus Republic. It's we the people versus special interest.
There you go. You're right, Jim. You're right.
And that's what I think it is.
You're kind of fading out, but we have to take a break anyway, so we'll be right back.
KNON thanks Wagner's Trucking for their support of community radio heard on 89.3 FM. Wagner's Trucking is now seeking experienced flatbed drivers. Qualifications include valid Class A CDL in good standing, 12 months of current experience, and the ability to pass a pre-employment screening. That's Wagner's Trucking now hiring experienced flatbed drivers. For more information on employment with Wagner's Trucking, 972-870-0909. Once again, 972-870-0909 or on the web at joinwagners.com.
KNON thanks you for your pledge to our recent pledge drive. Now is the time to make your pledge count. Be sure to send it in to KNON 5353 Maple Avenue, Dallas, Texas 75235. If you missed our pledge drive, you can still support community radio by donating online at knon.org. Your pledge only counts if you pay it. KNON 5353 Maple Avenue, Dallas, Texas 75235. Be sure to include the name of the show you're supporting. For questions about the pledge drive, 214-828-9500, extension 234.
I don't sing well, so I was just kind of...
You were doing pretty well.
Was I?
You were doing pretty well.
If I knew the words, it'd be better, right?
For people that don't know, during the breaks, Bonnie and I sing.
Yeah.
And we sing along with the theme songs and stuff.
That's right.
972-647-1893 is still the number. And is Marjorie still on? Line 2. Bring her on. Good morning, Marjorie. Thanks for calling.
Good morning. I saw a bunch of all our Walmart people at what was supposed to have been a fast food strike rally in a McDonald's in Irving.
Uh-huh.
And they're all doing fine. As far as I could tell, nobody's been fired.
Yay!
So I think I didn't see Megan, but I saw a bunch of others, and they seem to be doing fine.
Good.
The bad news was that I don't know about the other locations in town, but at that location, none of the fast food workers were there, and so it's just us, our Walmart people who were ready to support them, but they didn't show up. They need to coordinate better with their supporters, but I did want to let y'all know, as far as I know, no one has been fired, and no one, I guess the lawyer is still working on negotiations with the judge regarding us folks who were arrested. So I just wanted to reassure folks that as of last Thursday, nobody's been fired that I could tell. But I do know there are plans in the works for another a follow-up to the Balch Springs protest. It'll be on the 21st in the morning, probably. There's still some planning, and they have to decide which store they're going to be at.
Okay.
But just kind of keep that morning open. And I do know that in the evening at 5 in the evening, Dallas Restore the 4th is having an anti-surveillance rally at Dealey Plaza.
Okay.
And they called this some time ago. They learned from their mistake last summer. They called something on a Sunday morning on like 24 hours or less notice, and like half a dozen people showed up.
Right.
So they learned from their mistake. They're going to have it on a Saturday afternoon at 5 on the 21st, and they called it like 6 weeks in advance. So I think they really learned from their boo-boo.
And where do they go? Marjorie, where do they go? If they want to show up for this Restore the 4th action?
Dealey Plaza.
Okay.
Dealey Plaza. Now, you might want to explain what Restore the 4th is, because people aren't going to come out just because it's got a catchy name.
Yeah, well, as you may have heard, there's been a lot of surveillance, reading of people's email, listening to people's phone call by the National Security Administration, and the so-called war on terror has just become an open season to violate people's Fourth Amendment right not to be spied upon or to have their possessions seized or their house or their apartment or gone through, looking in the absence of any legitimate criminal charges or real suspicion.
So they want to restore the 4th Amendment.
Yeah,
and stop government spying.
Yeah, that it's just it was bad in the 70s under Tricky Dick but it's even worse now. It's not a Republican or a Democratic thing. It happened under Bush. It's continuing under the current administration, and the opposition to all this spying is across the board ideologically. It's not just socialist. It's not just libertarians. It's
everybody.
Ideologically very diverse.
You better wind it up, Marjorie, because we got another guy waiting.
Okay, but I wanted to share those things. But stay tuned regarding that morning. There is going to be something materializing at one of the Walmarts in town. And
on the 21st.
On the 21st.
Will do. And thanks for the word
Thanks,
that Megan,
Marjorie.
so far as we can find out, Megan has not been fired. Jim's on the line. Good morning, Jim. Thanks for waiting.
Good morning. I've got the information about the College of Complex meeting tonight.
Oh, okay. What is it?
Lessons on the Fall of the Republic. Lloyd Capel, historian and economist, will discuss the fall of the Roman Republic.
The fall of the Roman Republic. And could you give the time and the address, Jim? Because you're breaking up. You're really very hard to hear.
Well, okay, I'll talk louder.
No, it's not. It's not loud.
Your phone's cutting out.
It's your phone's cutting out.
Oh, great. Okay. The time, 6:30 to 7 o'clock. They want you to be there by 6:30 at Barbeck's Restaurant.
Barbeck's?
Yes.
Barbeck's, okay.
Barbeck's Restaurant.
On Garland Road.
BARBECS, 8949 Garland Road.
Okay.
8949 Garland Road tonight at 6:30, and they're going to be discussing the fall of the Roman Empire
and how it resembles our situation.
Okay.
Yeah, or how it doesn't.
Yeah.
Or how it doesn't. Thanks so much, Jim.
Thanks, Jim. Thanks for
that,
calling.
For that comment. I got a letter from Rick, who sent his pledge in.
Oh, thanks, Rick.
This is really cool. And something very, very, very cool about this is that he typed it on a typewriter.
Wow, look at that.
Remember
That's
typewriters?
awesome.
Yeah, he says this is sent from my 1960 Smith Corona Silent Super Portable Typewriter.
That is awesome.
Yeah, it really is. And he's remembering some of the shows we had. For example, Larry Daves. He said he was a Lawyers Guild comrade of mine. So I guess Rick is a lawyer. And I admire him for the work he did in East Texas and later in San Antonio.
Awesome.
Larry Daves filed the lawsuit that allowed immigrant children to go to school in Texas. He didn't carry it to the Supreme Court. Somebody else picked it up for the Supreme Court. But he filed the suit. And he was a famous civil rights lawyer and still alive. I've seen him. Rick says he hasn't seen him since he moved to Colorado, but I have. I went out in Colorado and saw him one day. And he's doing very well, doing a lot of gardening. and very, very, very involved in Democratic Party politics there, and a big supporter of President Obama. So thanks, Rick. And Rick also mentioned that he doubled his pledge. If people haven't sent their pledge in,
they need to.
They should.
Yes.
I don't remember the zip code, but it's 5353 Maple,
and it's 75235.
75235.
That's
5353 Maple, 75235. Send your pledges in.
Did you know that the American Legislative Exchange Council, ALEC, is meeting in Washington, D.C.?
Yeah, did you know that they were losing a bunch of their supporters?
No!
Yes, they are. A bunch of their big corporate sponsors. This is the organization that writes the most horrible legislation, the most anti-worker legislation in America. They wrote Stand Your Ground. For example, the law in Florida that allowed that guy to murder this other guy and get away with it.
Yep.
Because ALEC wrote that. And what they're saying on the news is that ALEC is losing all these supporters because of the Stand Your Ground law, which is really an atrocious thing that they did, and that they got this passed in Florida. That people just go around killing other people, especially if they happen to be black.
And there's many states that have that.
And they all copied it from ALEC. ALEC was the ones that came up with it. So they're losing supporters, but I don't think that it's because of any particular law. I think what it is because people are starting to find out about them.
Yep.
Nasty things happen in the dark, and the cockroaches don't like the light.
No, they don't.
So when
they run.
So that's what's happening. People are finding out about the American Legislative Executive Committee and finding out what a horrible role that they're playing in state legislatures who are and some of it's in Texas. A lot of it's in Texas, in fact.
Workers' right to organize. They want to curtail that. They want a corporate-friendly tax code, which I sure as heck don't know how it could get.
And it's not just what stuff it's passed. It's also things that they tried to pass and were unable to pass. As we mentioned a while ago, it's possible to stop legislation in Texas. It's almost impossible to pass any.
Right.
But it's possible to stop it.
Yeah.
And because of that, some of the worst things. Did you know one time there was a bill introduced in the Texas legislature to take trade unionists and stand them against the wall and shoot them?
Oh,
and I think it had
just like Columbia.
20-something supporters for
Wow.
it. It didn't pass. But anyway, some really horrible legislation has been proposed in the Texas legislature.
It's pretty scary. They don't like us.
It's a true fact. 972-647-1893 if you have a question or a comment, or if you want to just tell us that we were absolutely nuts to come out in this ice. If Mrs. Nolan, if you're listening, wake George up, because he said he was going to call, and he was supposed to have come in, but he would have been nuts to not come in. I think he should call and just say, ha ha ha, I didn't go out on the ice and you did, so you're crazy and I'm not. But I think he went back to bed, because he called this morning at 7:30 here at the station and said I'm not going to be able to come in. And that was smart, but he should be calling back, and we should be getting some word from him, because of the retiree stuff that's going on. It's a really big deal. Here's Judy on. Good morning, Judy. Thanks for calling.
Hi, Gene and Bonnie. This is Judy Bryant. Hi. And as you know, I'm the field organizer for Texas Alliance for Retired Americans. And I want to invite all retirees and anyone else who supports the right to retire to join us next Thursday at 1:30 at the Cockrell Hill Shopping Center, where we're going to show people how the Grinch stole Christmas. And the Grinch being our local Dallas Terra president, George Nolan, and who I'm sorry didn't get to join you today, but we're also going...
He went back to bed.
That's what we're thinking. He went back to sleep.
Okay.
He called the station at 7:30 and said he was not going to be able to come in. Then he went back to bed, that rascal.
Oh, okay. Well, then he's going to have some helpers of some of our most unfriendly Dallas area congressmen, like Henserling and Sessions and Johnson and Barton.
Now, are those guys actually going to be there?
No, but they're going to have some stand-ins.
I see.
Oh, okay.
For being there, and because they help the Grinch, and with some of the things that some of these folks are trying to do, not only to retirees, but veterans and people who are unemployed, and everyone but the 1%. They're trying to stick it to us.
Do we want everybody to come to this? Because I was thinking, do you want children to come too? Because the Grinch will try to steal their presents.
Yes,
that's almost
exactly.
certain.
Well, because with the cuts that their parents are getting, they may not be able to afford the Christmas that they would want to give to their children or grandchildren. So we'd like everybody to come out and join us. We know it's going to be cold. We won't be out there for a real long time, but we're going to be those activist retirees that you were talking about, and we're going to still stand up in December for saying, let's not be the last generation to retire.
That's right.
And we appreciate all the work that you and Bonnie are doing, and that you're sharing information for everybody about lots of valuable topics.
Thank you.
There are people like you that inspire us. This is Judy Bryant, the Texas organizer for the Texas Alliance for Retired Americans, who I know firsthand is the stalwart of the retiree movement all over the state, not just in North Texas, but everywhere. So we're just delighted that you called, Judy.
Well, and that's again at 1:30 on Thursday, December 12th at the Cockrell Hill Shopping Center, right there off of I-30 and Cockrell Hill Road.
Hey, Judy, will you clear something up for me? Some people say that December the 13th is the beginning of the new discussions on budget cuts, and other people are saying that it's the culmination of it. So which is it? Do you know?
Well, actually, our information says they are supposed to announce some type of agreement or where they are as far as what the cuts are going to be.
So it'll be the proposals.
It'll be the proposals that will go forward, and so we really don't know. Some sides are saying that things may be looking good, but we can't take any chances. We have to get folks out there, and this action is a part of Call Congress.
That's right. That's right, on the 12th.
On December the 12th of Call.
Do you have that number? We're supposed to call people. We're supposed to call Congress on December the 12th. That's a nationwide program. And I left my notes at home.
Oh,
do you have the number by any chance?
Not right here in front of me.
It's on the FLCO website. I know that. Bonnie finds things on her phone, so maybe we can get it on the AFL-CIO website. But it's an all-day thing. We're supposed to be calling Congress all day on December the 12th. Not just your congressman, but also both senators. And so you're supposed to make 3 calls. And we're going to do that out at my Union Hall, right, Judy?
Yes, starting at 10 o'clock with your retiree group. And then we're going to be passing out leaflets about this call-in day at several activities when we celebrate International Workers' Rights Day. On Tuesday, we'll be passing out leaflets to folks, and at several other meetings, so that people will know the number.
Got it.
They can go to our Texas Alliance for Retired Americans Facebook or website.
And then the number's on there. But Bonnie's got it right now. Let Bonnie announce the number because we're running out of time.
1-866-823-7204. And that's call Congress on December the 12th.
866-823. No, 823. 866-823-7204. And that's a free call?
Yes, that is a free call. Yes.
Thanks, Bonnie.
Thank you very much, Judy. Thanks for calling us. All right. We do have one more caller.
We're going to put Joe on? Okay, line 4. Bring him on.
It's not him.
Oh, sorry.
Bring her on.
These guys can't write. Sorry.
Yeah, I heard you talking about shift, health insurance.
Yes.
For children.
Yes.
Well, I want to read something to you, and it's a document, a form from the Texas Health and Human Services.
Okay, we've only got 1 minute. You better read it fast.
Well, it says that upon, to sign the form after they filled out the application. But on the back of it, it says help you can get without filling out this form, meaning the application itself. And they have areas where they can go get help, Texas Workforce, 211, health insurance, payment program. But one of the other ones that's on here is family planning, birth control supplies, other health supplies for both men and women.
Okay.
I just want you to know that.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So that's August 2013. That form was printed then.
Okay. Thanks. Thank you very much.
Okay.
We have to go. We'll be back next week.
See you next week.
KNON 89.3 FM in Dallas and Fort Worth, the voice of the people.
Business owners, tell KNON's listeners about your business. You can put your business or event on KNON. KNON currently has space available to run announcements for you. Tell KNON's listeners about your goods, services, nightclub, concert, or event. Help keep the voice of the people on the air while putting your information on the air. KNON's been named the #1 radio station in Dallas by both the Dallas Observer and D Magazine. Put your business with Dallas's #1 station. Call now for more information at 214-828-9500, extension 227, or extension 233. For more information, go to KNON.org and click on the Run Spots on KNON page. It's a great way for your business to support community radio while letting more people know about you.